Good morning, Giants. Welcome to Wake Up with Giants, the park bench. This is Nick Smith, Ryan Morris, and we have Simone Acciai. All the way, he was from Italy, but now he's coming from Santa Monica, California. And if you're watching this on the park bench, we run it a little different than we do with Wake Up with Giants TV. But this is going to be one of the most inspirational stories that you've ever heard. And I hope it inspires you into your giantness. And Simone, we're grateful to have you on the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
We're going to dive into your story a little bit. The goal with this is to really explore the synchronicities and the serendipities that occurred around our meeting, around you coming to America. Let's maybe start with how we all met and your experience of that. And then we're going to go into your story of how you got from Italy to America, because that's incredible.
Yeah.
That work?
Yep.
Perfect. I'll let you dive in. How did we meet?
We met at my shop in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
And was very random.
Yeah, tell me about that.
I met with Steve Addison. I didn't want to meet him at the beginning.
Why not?
So I started getting some text from him like a couple of weeks before.
Yeah,
I thought it was a special customer, like the special one, right? And so he wanted to come and meet some people at my shop. I was like, yeah, fine, okay, as long as you buy gelato, I'm good with that.
You mean special as in a little bit of weird, Simone?
Very weird, yeah.
Very weird.
And the morning of that day, I woke up with a text of Steve with a picture of him in front of my shop that was closed because it was 7 a.m., right? And I was like, oh, shit, this is going to be a long day today.
yeah.
And, at the end, I met him with you. And that's the start.
Yeah, so you met Ryan Morris came and had gelato there, and Steve Hardison and a bunch of other people showed up at your shop. You had no experience of these guys before.
No.
Didn't even know who they were. There's a special customer that shows up at your shop and is taking pictures at 7 a.m. and you're like, oh man.
He sent me the link of his website, but honestly, I didn't even look at that because I was sure there was like a painful customer.
And then what happens? So your vision of it as you're seeing them and experiencing them out there eating gelato, your idea of them is that this is a painful customer, not very fun to be with, one of those special customers that has high demands and needs. But then you get to talk with them.
And then I talked with him like for 5 minutes first, and then he went sit down with some other people.
Yep.
And then I started Googling because I was fascinating.
Yeah.
And then we met and we sat down together after, and he gave me this gift.
Man, and that's where the magic begins. Not begins because it was going on years in advance of this. So he gives you that book, and you read that book or the message. What comes up for you?
It's my story. It seems that it's written for me.
Wow. Yeah. Tell me about that. How is it your story?
You want to know my story?
Yes. Yep.
I think everyone does.
Simone. Yep. Everybody wants to know your story.
I'm glowing to hear your story.
It's a long story, but
perfect.
Long story short, I came here to study English 2011, and the plan was to stay here for 6 months. And 10 years after, actually June 1st is my 10th anniversary here in America. And I studied English, and I finally felt in love with this place like the very first day.
Yeah.
And back and forth, I wanted to stay here. And the way that I found to stay here was to open a gelato shop.
Mm-hmm. And you knew how to make gelato from a long line of family history in Italy, right?
Absolutely not. I had no idea.
Yeah. But you found a loophole. Like, you wanted to be in America. You came here 10 years ago to learn English. And then you decide, okay, I know how to get here. Gelato shop. Yep.
Exactly.
Okay, keep going.
I had no idea. How to make gelato. I mean, the way was to get the visa to stay here.
Okay.
So I came here. The gelato was the way to stay here, getting the visa, immigration stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it took me 9 months to find the location. Everyone was asking about my credit score. I have no credit score.
Wow.
Open bank account. I don't have a social security number. Okay. I don't speak English pretty much. And
Wow.
Where is the other shop? I don't have any other shop. And at the end, after 9 months, I found a location in Santa Monica, which is the most beautiful location in this world.
Yeah. Yep.
And then it took me 9 months to open because of the permits. I had no idea how to ask for a building permit at the city hall. I had no idea about anything, how to set up a payroll, how to anything.
Wow. So I want to highlight this because you're coming from Italy and you want to be in America. That's what you know is, I want to be in America. It's beautiful here. This is where I want to be. You don't speak English, right? You don't know how to make gelato. You don't have a credit score. You don't have another business. You don't even know how to run this business, right? You don't know how to get permits. Like, I want people to hear this. This is why I'm anchoring this in. Is you have so many things that anybody could say, yep, absolutely justified that he couldn't come to America because he didn't speak English, because he didn't have a credit score, because he didn't know how to make gelato, like all these things. And in your mind, you're like, I don't know how to do it, but I'll figure it out.
Yep, exactly. Beautiful. I knew that I was going to.
Yeah.
Somehow. I didn't know how. And not even a social security number that, I mean, you have it since you're born, right?
Yep.
And even if, even to get a phone or a phone plan, they ask for the social security, of course.
Right.
The driving license. I didn't have the driving license. I couldn't drive at the beginning.
Yeah.
I was taking the
drive
bus
to your work, right? You could, yeah. This is amazing. Yeah. So keep going. So you have all these things that one could say are stacked against you, right?
Yeah.
These objects, these obstacles are in the way, but you're looking at it as like, I just know that I am going to be in America and I'm choosing to be in Santa Monica.
Yep.
Yeah, keep going. What happened?
After months, after my personal bank account was minus $172, and when the company bank account was almost zero, we opened. It was a beautiful day. I had to open that day because I was like, if I don't open that day, I mean, there is no more money. I can't pay the rent. I was paying the rent for the whole 9 months before I was able to open, because I had no idea how to get all the permits, right? And then we opened, and 6 years later, it's still open.
Yeah. So 6 years later, you're in. I want people to hear this. You go from Italy and you decide, I want to go to America and learn English. You come to America and you fall in love with it. And you just think, I want to be in America. That's your new vision. So it started out as a vision of, I want to learn English in America. Then I want to stay in America.
That was not the plan at the beginning, of course.
Okay, yeah.
Plan was to stay here 6 months.
Okay, yeah. And then you get here and you're like, wow, this is pretty incredible. I want to be there.
Yep.
And you literally moved mountains, stepping stones, obstacles, whatever you want to call them, to get here. And I want people to hear this. There's a particular person that's watching this right now that I know is going to benefit from this message if they'll internalize it and step into it the way you did, because you had nothing in place for you to be here. You created all of it, right?
Yep.
And because of that, because you created this gelato shop in Santa Monica, one of the most beautiful, probably one of the more expensive places to own a storefront, right? Here you come from Italy, no background, no experience, no language, no credit, no driver's license, and you create a gelato shop in America. And I hear people consistently say, I can't because, and here you're saying, I can, and I'll figure it out. And here
I don't know how.
Yeah,
I will.
Yeah, that's beautiful to highlight that. I don't know how, but I will. And that attitude and that stepping into it fully, not knowing how you're going to do it. As the obstacles came up, you addressed them and they turned into stepping stones, like Hugh said, right? And they advanced you. You were just ranked as the best gelato shop in Santa Monica, right?
Actually, we won again this year, so it's 5 years in a row.
5 years in a row. Like, this is amazing, right? Like 5 years in a row. And this is from nothing, guys. Like, this is from nothing. This is from an idea of, I want to learn English. And from a vision of, I just want to be in America. And it grew from that and it evolved into what it is today. And what I find amazing is that because of those choices, we were able to come and see you at your shop, years after. Now I want to talk about COVID, because you had that success, and here 5 years in a row, you're the best gelato shop in Santa Monica. But during COVID, it was a challenge. Can you talk about that?
Was another example. I mean, I knew that I was not going to close.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Somehow, I don't know how, but
Yeah.
I won't close. Many businesses closed, of course.
Yeah.
I stayed there by myself. I fired all the employee because I had no money to pay the employee.
Yeah.
I was for a while closing the days with like $15 sales, $20 sales. You can't imagine how expensive is the rent. Only the rent in Santa Monica. I mean, there is no way to survive. But I stayed open, and there was a time that the very loyal customer came to the shop, get $5 gelato, and gave me $10 tips, or just gave me $10 tips. Okay, no, I don't want your gelato. Just stay open, please. And just this for me was like, wow, yes, I will. Somehow I will. Okay.
So other people were involved in your vision, and whether they bought gelato or not wasn't important. They bought into you, Simone.
They stopped by just to say, come on, Simone, you can.
Oh, man, I'm getting emotional about that, dude.
And that's maybe why we keep winning this thing, because some people know my story.
Yep.
And of course, the gelato is killer gelato. So.
It is killer gelato.
Yeah. So, we had a conversation yesterday. We went and taught in a school in Southern Utah, and we taught over 300 students and educators, and it was a powerful conversation. And afterward, we were able to meet with a friend and have a conversation. And he talked about betting on the jockey, not the horse. Right? Because the person that is riding the horse is more valuable than the horse because of their skill. And if somebody could have invested in Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos back in the day when they were really just getting started, if they would have known and bet on the jockey, not the idea, because there's millions of ideas. There's millions of gelato shops. What makes yours unique? Well, it's Simone. Like if I were to bet on a person or on a jockey, it would be Simone, right? And here's this story of perseverance and persistence and stumbling through the darkness, not really knowing how you're going to create this, but just knowing that you are. And that's what people are inspired by, and people are coming by and they're saying, hey, just don't quit, Simone. We need you. Your gelato's fine. It's pretty good. You know, it's okay. It's okay enough that it won 5 awards 5 years in a row from a guy that had no clue how to make gelato, right? And it is good. I've had it. What's beautiful about this is that you are the jockey. You are the inspiration in this story, because without you, none of this would have occurred, right? There's millions of gelato shops out there. It's not the gelato, it's Simone. And it's you deciding in Italy, you know what? I'm going to speak English. And then you get here and you're like, nope, even more. I'm going to live in America. And then you found a way to create that. And not only did you find a way to create that, you're receiving awards for your persistence. And then people coming in and supporting you in your vision because of who you are and how you show up. And so
it's going much better than my expectation. Yeah. My goal was to survive. I hope to survive, you know, at the beginning. I hope to get enough money to pay my rent. I was sharing a room, of course. I had no money at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And now it's going much better than was that I could even think at the beginning.
Yeah, so it turned out even better than you could have imagined, right? Yeah. So when you read this story, you make it through COVID. Let's go back to COVID. So your customers are coming in and they're saying, Simone, don't quit. Like, I don't need your gelato. I'll support you. Let's keep you in business. Let's keep this dream going. And so you're able to do that. Ryan, I'm gonna have you mute out if you don't mind for the sound, the background there. So they support you and they want to keep your dream going. And then you keep going. So what happens through COVID? What happens within you?
I was by myself on the shop all day doing nothing,
okay.
Seeing 2 or 3 customers per day, and literally doing nothing. Keep going. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
And finally, we got some helps from the state, from the federal, you know, and so I was able to pay the rent and not to buy my milk and my chocolate. That's it. Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
I didn't get any money. I mean, I started paying myself like a month ago.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
But that was the only way, I mean, to survive.
I want to ask you, so survival, when you get into that survival mode, some people feel guilty or ashamed of being in survival. And as I look at it, survival is necessary at some points. There's some points where you've got to do what's necessary to keep your dream alive, right? And then as you're able to move forward, then you can step into a space of doing more than just surviving. You go into thriving.
Yeah.
Can you speak to that a little bit?
It's the same. It was the same feeling, COVID, than when I was trying to open and I couldn't.
Yeah.
And that was another survival mode, right?
Yep.
You don't see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
But you gotta keep going.
Amazing.
Then when you see the light, then the fun starts, of course.
It's incredible. Here's what's amazing to me. And I'm going to be grandiose enough to say that you came to Italy or came to America really to have a conversation with us right here so that people could hear your story. And even beyond that, I love what that by a chance meeting with a special customer, it opened up this conversation right here that you couldn't have envisioned being on here or even getting that book. That wasn't even on your radar, right? And so I want to go into the book now. So you read the book, and now that people have context of your story, you read the book, and what ignites in you inside of that book?
I was the giant. Okay,
Huh.
It's my story. Okay, and it's weird. I was the giant, but I also was the small. Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
And if I think back in time, there was the giant Simone teaching the small Simone how to grow. I don't know if it makes sense.
No, can you say that again? Because it does make sense. And can you say that again for emphasis?
I was Rit and Remy, and the giant Simone was teaching the small Simone how to go, how to grow.
Yeah.
And how to keep going.
Yeah. And Simone, that's the metaphor right there. Like, we can have external coaches and mentors, but the reality is that we all have that giant Simone or that giant Nick or that giant Ryan inside of us that's teaching our small self how to be a giant, and closing that gap between when we feel small and feel giant. And so you've inspired yourself. You're going back to where you're feeling small and you're inspiring yourself from that space.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love what you did, because you started sharing this with your family in Italy.
Yes. I told them this story with the special customer, with meeting you guys, and the book. And they don't speak English. So what can I do? I have to translate this book.
What can I do? There's nothing else makes sense. I've got to translate this book into Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was not, I thought I was either. Never done this before, of course, never. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So I started from page 1, and I translated the last page actually last night.
Yeah. Can you talk about that experience with your family? Because when you were translating, when I talked to you, you said there was a way of just translating where the words come across, and it's just words. But you were so inspired by the message that you wanted to translate the emotion and the words into that translation. Is that right?
If you translate literally, you don't get the sense. It sounds weird. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just because of the translation. There are a different way of saying that just sounds weird. Okay. So it takes some time to translate just one page.
Yeah.
Because first you translate it, but then it doesn't make sense. So you wanna make that page interesting and fascinating, and you wanna express what you're trying to express, right?
Right.
And so yeah, every night it's like, since I met you, pretty much, I translate one page because it takes time.
Yeah.
And I send the page to them.
Yeah.
And because of the time difference, they get my email when they wake up. So the first thing in the morning, they read only one page, because that's that's all I sent, right?
And so they're reading the book, and your mom's like, "What the hell? What happened to Rit? Where's Rit? What's going on in this story?"
A couple of days I had to skip because I had something else to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, what happened to Rit? Come on. It's like in the middle of the path following the giant. So
amazing. Yeah, you sent a picture. I haven't posted this yet, but I'll post it today, of your family sitting around the computer. Is it your mom and your brother? Or yeah, and they're sitting there looking at the image of the computer with the translation, and it's powerful. I mean, who would have thought that Simone would come from Italy to learn English, to then translate a book back to his family so that they could become giants like he became a giant? Who would have thought?
I can't imagine. I mean, just if you had told me a month ago, in a month you are going to translate a book in Italian for free. There is no way.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, that's what's amazing is you came to us and said, "Can I do this?" And I mean, what a beautiful gift for one. And I have so much gratitude around that. And the other gift that you're giving is to your family, that they can now, they couldn't access it in English because they didn't read English. And now not only are you giving them the message, you're giving the emotion of the message too.
Yeah.
And so now your family has the opportunity to see, not because of what you say, Simone, it's because of how you show up in the world. Like you show up as a giant in the world. And we have a friend named Zach Garrett, who's an incredible human who runs his life kind of like you do. He's the type that says, you know what, I'll say yes to it. I don't know how to do it, but I can figure it out. And he figures it out. And just like you and our friend that we had a conversation with yesterday, same personality type of, you know what, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do accounting, but I know I can learn anything. There is nothing that we can't learn. And what you've demonstrated in your story is that the only obstacles that get in the way really are our internal thoughts or beliefs that say, I can't do that. And then we justify it.
You have to believe it on it 100%, not 99. Because if it's 99, you leave 1% of chances to fail. Okay. And you don't even want to put the failing on the chances, right?
Right.
So has to be 100%. If you want to do this, 100%. Otherwise, no, don't even start.
Be all in, right? And that's where we sell ourselves short, is in that idea that I'll be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'm guilty of it. I've done that, right?
Oh, yeah, me too, many times.
And what you're demonstrating is when you dive in 100%, not 99%, when you dive into your vision 100%, it means when obstacles come in that you're going to figure out how to get through those obstacles. You're going to overcome challenges. You're not going to quit at the first sign of difficulty.
Not at the second, not at the third, not at the 12th. You got to keep going. Right?
Yeah. If one way doesn't work, I'll find a million others that will.
Yeah.
And I think of, who is it? The light bulb, Edison. I found 10,000 ways that didn't work. Right? Because he kept going. That's the vision there, is he kept going. You kept going. Other people keep going. See, we put dependency on others to create our vision for us. Like, imagine if Simone had put his success in the hands of somebody else. Well, I could have done it if this guy would have done something, or I could have done it if that woman would have helped me over there. And because they didn't, I can't. And what I hear in your story, Simone, is that I am 100% responsible for me and my actions and my visions, right?
Yeah. Someone can help you. Someone cannot, but at the end of the day, it's you.
Yeah. Wow. And man, I think your story is going to go out there. And this is what I've envisioned with this. Like, this story is so impactful and so powerful. What you created from nothing is so impactful that it's going to inspire others to do that for themselves. And this will be the most powerful conversation that people have ever listened to, if they'll really hear it.
I at the beginning, I thought that was okay. It's difficult. But it's because of me, because I don't speak English, because I don't know how to make gelato, because I don't know how to run a business.
Yep.
Now, 6 years later, I am also on the board of Main Street, and I help, businesses or someone that wants to open a business in Santa Monica. And now I know that it's actually, it's difficult. They say, if you can make it in Santa Monica, you can make it everywhere. Okay. I didn't know. I thought that was difficult just for me, but it's actually difficult to open a business in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Even if you have your social security number, for example, right?
Right. Man, I just think of this chance meeting and how lucky I feel, how blessed I feel to know you, because of a chance meeting with a quote unquote difficult customer, right? Imagine what might have happened if Simone didn't open the doors that day or said, you know what, I'm going to treat this guy like he's a difficult customer. And you opened up, you got curious. What I noticed there is you got curious. You started Googling. You know, you read the book, you read the message. You didn't just get the book and throw it in the garbage or on the curb. You know, it was like, I'm going to read this. And then you find your story and you're like, oh my gosh, this is me. And that, not only that, it's like, I need my family to hear about this.
Yeah.
To the point that I'm going to go translate it from English to Italian, not just by word, but by emotion, by energy.
For free.
For free.
For free. Yeah. Ryan, I'm curious, what are you thinking? Because you met Simone at the gelato shop.
Yeah, I didn't know all this stuff. So like I didn't know the story. I just thought, hey, look, Simone is an amazing guy and he makes some really dang good gelato. And hearing all of this, you know, the backstory, I've heard a little bit, you know, from Nick and your conversations, but you know, I heard California is looking for a governor. So,
Okay.
you know, I think that's the next step, right? You know, city council or whatever, the board, you know, and then you just go to governor.
No, I don't like politics. I'm gonna say
Me neither. You're doing amazing, man. This is incredible.
Yeah.
You know, now in your story, you kind of speak so matter of fact, like, yeah, I did that. But going through it, the day to day, were there dark moments? Were there moments where, you know, you felt like giving up? And then in those moments, what did you do?
Yeah, there was many moments that I sat on the beach saying, what the hell am I doing here? Okay. Money running out. I have nothing. What I'm doing here? Okay.
Yeah.
And then I found a way. But I have so many examples. I had to study the plumbing code of Santa Monica to find an exception because the restroom was too small and the city planning wouldn't let me open the shop. But then I studied the plumbing code and I found an exemption. And they wanted to make my bathroom bigger by 3 inches, okay? Which means destroy the whole place. I had no money to redo the place.
Yeah.
But I found this exception. I went to the city hall, to the architect or whatever, and they couldn't say no because there was an actual exception that let me open. Okay. And they didn't tell me that. I had to study this book of plumbing codes. I was not expecting to do this when I decided to open, you know.
That's phenomenal right there. I mean, can you hear that? They said no. And you went and read the book and found a single exception in a book that's this thick.
Yeah.
You went through and studied that because you had to. Like, listen to the language of Simone of, I had to do that. That was the thing to do, right?
I thought it's impossible, right? That is not going to work. It's impossible. It has to work somehow. It has to be something, you know? And
it's impossible for this not to work. It has to work. I'm going to find that solution in that book this thick. I'm going to find that one exception that makes this work.
You know, and just to emphasize, Simone, I opened up a business as well for 10 years. The cities have no interest in it feels like in helping you figure out how to go through the process at the city. Yeah. It feels like you're alone and that they're all against you. You go in and you talk to them and they hand you a form and slide it across the table and good luck. Yeah, and then they come in with all their updates. They need you to do earthquake upgrades and zoning upgrades and this upgrade. that upgrade and tell you all the reasons why you can't open a business, and it feels like the weight of the world is against you. It's not. It's a very frustrating. I've done it with 3 different cities here in Utah, and it is absolutely frustrating as all get out.
You know
And
what
so
I'm talking about.
I feel all those emotions starting to come back up as I hear Simone talk about that, because I know that part. I know that feeling of I'm running out of rope, I'm running out of time, I'm running out of money, and then you've got all these other people against you as well. It feels like, and
Remember, I was there. I was going to the studio like every Wednesday because the architect was there every Wednesday, and every Wednesday there was something wrong. Okay, kept going, and I remember that time they were opening an Apple store in downtown Santa Monica, and I remember one day there was the architect by Apple with all the plans right in front of me. And I remember, yes, I am the architect that I'm opening. I mean, we are planning to open the Apple store with the architect, the serious stuff, right? And then after him, who are you? I am Simone, and I want to open a gelato shop. Okay. So they were like, okay, yes, okay, go.
Yeah.
You know?
Huh. Yeah. So it could have felt like I don't matter, right? I'm unimportant. But Simone, like what you speak, I want people to hear this. I want me to hear this. This is where I emphasize some of these things, Ryan, like you're doing. You emphasize these things because they're so impactful. This is impossible to fail, right? We might lose Ryan because of technology here, but we'll keep going, okay? So Simone is in the space of it's impossible to fail. And so they may shoo you off. They may say that you don't matter. They may say anything. And you think in your mind, it's impossible for this to fail. I didn't come this far to fail. So I'm going to find the solution. Like you go in and you dig through a book. You go and talk to the architect. You do all these things to create something out of nothing. And you look at it as though I'm 100% in and it's impossible for this to fail. So what do I need to do?
Just need to find the way. I don't know what is the way. I don't know what is the path, but there is a path somewhere, right?
There is a path. Yeah. What is the way? What a question. Yeah.
you know, I hear too is I hear commitment.
Yeah.
So you burn the boats, you burn the bridges to go back to Italy. It wasn't an option anymore. I mean, that's an extreme thing to do. But what are the boats and bridges in your world? The listener at home that's sitting there wondering, okay, what are my, what should I do? Burn the boats and the bridges. Get committed. Maybe you're not as committed as you think you are. Committed like Simone, right?
Well, let's talk about that because I love this question right here, Simone. And I know some things about you, that it's not always shiny and confident, that Simone had some real insecurities that came up through all of this. And so someone asked, did you always have that confidence or was it born with the dream? And can you speak to that? Because I can see that the confidence, the idea that I'm going to create this is there. And also there were a lot of insecurities. Can you talk about those?
I was not born with this dream. Again, I came here and it was not the plan to stay here.
Yeah.
But after I came, yes, the dream born. I want to stay here. How? I don't know. But I will find a way. And then the magic idea of the gelato.
The magic idea comes in and you act on it.
Yeah.
You act on it and keep going. And then what about your security? Did you feel insecurity? Did you feel scared? Did you feel a lack of confidence in some areas?
Yes and no. I mean, I was okay. I know that I don't know how to make gelato. I know that. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Can be impossible. And actually making gelato was not the biggest thing to to learn.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
it was more difficult studying the plumbing code of the of
Yeah.
Santa Monica,
Yeah.
right? Or
Yeah.
pull a permit or get set up the payroll or accounting. That was more difficult than the gelato itself, right?
Yeah. So you had this drive to learn whatever you needed to learn.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I may not know it, but I can learn it.
Yeah.
And I'm 100% committed to this vision, and I'll learn whatever I need to learn to make that vision a reality. So the only insecurities that you might have faced is not knowing, but you knew that you could get yourself to a space of knowing.
I made every possible mistake that I could have made. I did everything wrong at first. Everything. Okay.
Yeah. And how did that serve you by doing everything wrong?
Then you learn how to make it right.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much message in your message. Your Giants journey, like, to me, is one of the most inspiring journeys that I've ever heard, because you made mistakes. You went out there and put yourself in a position where you would make mistakes so that you could learn. And you
So
were
let me give you
willing.
another example.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I buy milk, of course, every day.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, I was putting the new milk in front of the old one,
Okay.
right, in the fridge. You can't imagine how much milk I had to throw away because the old was expired, and I was keep buying new milk, not thinking that first in, first out, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. It's a stupid example, but
No. It's a great
I
example.
had to throw away a lot of milk to then realize, oh, what if I use the old milk first?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Right?
one example, but what a great example is just even little things like that. It's fine tuning, right? You had this big thing where there's this closing of the gap, and then there's these little incremental improvements that you were able to make to even make it even better, right? But always a chance for learning to make it better.
Yeah.
Man, I could see, like, when you say that's my story, the Giants and the Smalls, that's my story. Like, as I look at you and what you're creating, it's my story too, right? But I can see your journey in there. I can see Simone as the giant. I can see Simone as the small, not knowing how he's going to be that giant in Santa Monica, owning a gelato shop that's ranked 5 years in a row as the best gelato shop in Santa Monica, right? Like, he's that giant, and also he's the small in the sense that he doesn't have all the answers, but what he knows is that he can learn the answers that'll get him back into that giant space. And everybody that's watching this has a chance. Like, when somebody asked the question earlier, is the giant your higher self? Could be, could also be a mentor, could also be a book, could also be some kind of learning that gets you to go from that small space to that giant space. Could be an experience where you failed really hard and you grew from it. That could be your giant self. Yeah. There's so many opportunities for learning. What I hear in your journey, if I were to sum it up, is that Simone had a vision that he didn't know how he was going to create, but he knew it would be created. And he committed to it 100%. And as obstacles came up, he learned how to manage those obstacles, to turn them into strengths, to the point that he arrived at his vision. And I'd imagine that's not the end of Simone. Like, he's done. That's not it. There's more mountains to climb. There's more pinnacles to reach. Yeah. That essentially is the Giants' journey, is what's possible for me. Can I do that? And in the vision, yes, I can do that. And I'm 100% committed to doing that. And then finding out whatever you have to do, doing whatever needs to be done for you to create that. That could be a relationship. That could be a job. Somebody could be in their job and do what you did. Somebody said
the translation of the book is another example.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never done this before. It's hard, but
yeah. Wow.
I'll get through that.
Yeah. You mentioned to me in a conversation that you felt small. Like, I feel giant in this area, but I feel small over here. And then you go back through that journey again, right?
Yeah. It's a loop.
It's a loop. but it's a spiral because you're expanding in that loop, and you're expanding out and growing in that loop. So I look at, in nature, when a simple thing is repeated and it repeats and it grows in size and it grows in mass, but it's a similar step every time, but it expands. And with your life, you're doing the same thing. You're learning new things and you're growing. And then you go back to being small in a new area and you grow, and you go back to being small in a new area and you grow. So you went from being, I can't speak English, I'm going to learn how to speak English. So you learn how to speak English, and now I'm going to live in America. And you learn how to live in America, and now I'm going to be the #1 gelato shop in Santa Monica, and you become that. And then you go back to being small in another area.
Yeah.
Like you are an inspiration, man.
Every day. Yeah.
Yeah. And I hope you can hear this. Like if I were in Simone's, I'd pat myself, I'd celebrate that, right? Of your creation is incredible. And what I love about you, Simone, is at the same time, you have this humility of, you know what, there's more areas where I can grow.
For sure.
Yeah. What else comes up for you? What else do you feel inspired to share?
I don't know. Do you have any question?
Ryan, do you?
No, I just this makes me reflect on my whole journey too, and
Yeah.
all the things like that. What was my commitment? What was I? What am I willing to do? Am I willing to show up every Wednesday to the city hall, on this particular day, because that's the day that the architect's there. Am I willing to, go through hard things, stay committed, explore every possibility, because in my mind there's no other option. This has to work. There is a way. I will find the way, and the way might not be perfect. That I think that there's we went to the school the other day, and there was multiple ways we were teaching the kids that, look, you come into an obstacle, do you give up, do you stop? No, you can go over a table, around a table, under a table, like all these. The kids were coming up with all these incredible ways to get from point A to point B. And some of the ways we didn't even think of. We had these chairs that had roller wheels on them. And they got on the chairs and started riding them like a horse and moving across the space that we had created. It was something that I was like, I didn't even think of that. I thought they were going to just jump over it or go around it. No, they got on the chair. They thought outside of the box, thought of something different, and it still worked. So as I think about his story, and I start thinking about my life, my story, what's going on in my world. Okay, well, going under the table didn't work. What about over the table? What about around the table? What about riding the chair like a horse?
Right.
I can get there a myriad of different ways.
Yeah.
But what's my commitment level to see it through?
Ryan, I'm going to read that poem. Keep going.
Yeah. So Nick, on the way down, we didn't know exactly how our visit was going to go. And so we were talking with the league members, the League of Giants, and we shared this poem that Nick wrote in a couple of days. And they told him that he was somewhere between Dr. Seuss and Eminem, the rapper Eminem. So somewhere between that, I want you to hear this that he wrote. I want you to, like everyone at home, to open up your ears and your mind to expand and listen to this of what's possible and what Nick created from just a couple of days of wanting to create something special for you and for those kids down in southern Utah.
Yeah, so this is How to Be a Giant poem. And if you'll hear this, anybody that's listening, this will answer a lot of your questions, right? So how does a giant create big things that we see? Can you do that? How could it be? Well, you have big dreams and hopes deep within that will change your whole world if you'll only begin to see that vision as clear as the now and work toward it daily, though you don't quite know how. The pathway you choose is up to you. There are millions of them. Any one will do. And if it turns up that one doesn't pan out, then just pick another and try not to pout. Because your pathway is not like another. Nope, not like your cousin, your friend, or your mother. It is your own. And that's the fun. Just know where you're going and run, run, run. Get there by chicken or a billy goat. Get there by digging or by car or by boat. You'll zig and you'll zag. There's not just one way. Keep trying new paths till you get there one day. Your dream is your own. It's no one's to share. Be a dancer, inventor, or one who does hair. Be the best you can be every step of the way, for you can be anything. And that starts today. Trust in yourself that every step that you take will lead to your dream, and that's no mistake. For when you step forward, into your vision, you'll change your whole life. With that simple decision. And don't ever quit on the dreams that you make, because you can do anything if you'll stay awake. Now, this much I promise, that it's up to you, that you can do anything you decide to do. So get out, imagine anything that you can, go after it daily over your entire lifespan. For you are a giant. It's always in there. You can be anything if you will take care. Just to make up the dream, the path will appear. As you step forward, trusting, your dreams will get clear. And giants keep growing. They reach goals, and then they do it all over again and again. I love you. I love you. Can you love you too? Who are you, my friend? A giant. That's who. So that gets me emotional a little bit. Like, that's the path that you just demonstrated right here. Is you didn't know how. Like, you went out and you just chose a path. And then when that path didn't work, you picked another path. And when that didn't work, you picked another path until you found the path that would, and you grew in that. And then when you reached a block there, you went to another path. There's no secret. Yeah.
There is no end. It's a way. Okay.
Yeah.
Until you die, you have hope, right?
Yeah.
And you have to keep moving until that day.
Yeah. Ryan
It's
and I
not
do
like
that. Yeah.
And
Yep. There is no end. Yeah. It's not a goal. A goal is an end.
not a goal. Yeah.
A vision is possibilities and endless. A vision and a purpose is a place to rest, but it doesn't mean I'm done. And, I look at where Ryan and I have come in this business, with the giants and the smalls, and where we started with just an idea, a book, right? And here we are today. We have thousands of members around the world. We have a TV show that has over 50,000 hours a year of watch time so far. I mean, we have a global community. We have a book that's being taught in schools. Like, we just keep finding obstacles and we work around them. Like, we don't know how. Some days we feel really insecure. And the insecurity comes because we don't have confidence or knowledge in that area. So we go out and we get the knowledge, and then that insecurity goes away. Like, if you don't know how to do something, go do something until you learn how to do it, and then you won't be insecure in that thing. If you don't know how to do that in a relationship, and I'm getting preachy here a little bit, like, go learn it like Simone did. Like, you're such an inspiration in this. Like, you are a living testimony, if I were to say it that way, of what it takes to be a giant. Like, your life is the example. Like, it's a beautiful thing.
I mean, I know that I don't know a lot of things, especially here, right?
Yeah.
And I am small in a lot of things.
Yeah.
But I know how to make gelato now.
What's the name of your gelato shop?
Dolcenera.
Dolcenera.
Yeah.
Is it with an A or an O? Dolcenera.
No, sorry.
Oh, Dolcenero. Okay, I'm gonna spell it. Does that look right?
Dolcenero.
Dolec.
There's an A.
Janero.
Cancel that A.
Yeah, the A at the end there. There we go.
There we go. Yep.
Dolcenero. So that's in Santa Monica, and if you're in that area, go see Simone. Go say hi. Go say thank you for this message. Support him in his vision, because there's more to come for Simone, and I don't know what it quite looks like. But now you're out there inspiring your family to be giants in Italy. And I know you'll continue to do great things, because if I were to invest in a jockey, it would be Simone. I mean, if you had a chance to invest in an Elon Musk type person, it would be Simone, right? And I'm not asking people to invest, but I'm just saying that's the vision, is the person who is committed to their vision is going to create that vision, right? The idea, there's plenty of those. How you do that, there's plenty of those. And so what you've demonstrated for people is that when you make that internal commitment 100% to the thing that you want to create, your vision, that you'll figure out how to do it. You'll stop getting hung up on the how-tos, and you'll just make it work, and you'll learn how to do it. And so I love that. I appreciate you so much right now. I just want you to know that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else that you want to share? No. Ryan, any final thoughts?
I just appreciate you, and I know that it's impacting a lot of people, and it will continue to impact millions of people, 100 million plus, as we get out and share it. We're going to share your story, if that's okay with you. We're going to talk with Steve Hardison, and we're going to share your story more and help others to see that they can do it. We're going to share the Giants' journey with others, because your story is the Giants' journey. There'll be people all over the world. Italy will be super appreciative, and because you translated it.
I will send you the final translation when it's done.
That'd be amazing. That will be dedicated to Simone when we put that in print. So that is my promise to you. And just so much, I'm getting emotional. I think about you and what you've created, and allowing us to share that.
We can reach more people, right?
Yeah.
It has to be translated somehow.
Yeah.
When he thinks of other people, he doesn't even think about himself. That's the best part. I love
Amazing.
it.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you for being on the show. Simone, thank you for being a part of this and sharing your story. I know this is the most impactful message we've shared so far in the Giants and the Smalls. And you're an inspiration. Keep going. Keep doing amazing things. I have no doubt that you will. And so just know that we love you. And we've only known you about 3 weeks. It's amazing. A month.
3 weeks. Incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah. So go make it a giant day. And thank you for being a part of this. Those who are watching, hang on to your vision. Don't worry about the how-to. Just know that you can create anything if you'll stick with it and persist around the how-tos. There's plenty of them, and you can do it. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.